Hello, my name is Ben Lee, and today we're going to look at a new action called Scene Modify that's available for DALI Keypads. This action previously has always been available with the Ineo Keypad, but can now be used with the DALI Keypad. SCMD4 version 1.14p and device editor version 31.5.10. When setting a button to Scene Modify, you'll define the area and the percentage that that button should raise or lower the selected scene. So first, let's define the scenes, and then we'll talk about how they are affected by Scene Modify. In area 49, I have two zones or channels. I have a lamp and I have an overhead light. So my first scene is going to be my lamp at 100%. And then my second scene is going to be overhead at 100%. Then scene 3 will be both lights at 50%. In my fourth scene, the lamp will be at 75 and the overhead will be at 20. So let's call this scene special. So now that we've set up our scenes, let's go over to the scene editor. Then let's select scene 1, which is lamp 100. We'll adjust the lamp to 100%, and then we're going to want to check off Scene Modify so that if this scene is called and raise or lower are pressed, it's only going to affect the lamp. So we'll set the overhead light to off. For our overhead scene, we'd set the lamp to off and overhead to 100%, and then check off Scene Modify so that raise and lower will only affect the overhead lights. Then we'll call 50%, and we're going to want to check Scene Modify for both to ensure that if this scene is called, raise and lower will affect both channels or zones. So then we'll call special, set the lamp to 75 and the overhead to 20. And we're going to check Scene Modify for both channels to ensure that raise and lower will dim both up and down. I also want to point out that if you check off ignore in a scene, that means that that scene will not affect that zone. So whatever level it was at in the previous scene, it would stay. Also, checking off edit blind allows for you to set scenes without actually affecting the lights in the space. If you need to do zone toggles on buttons in an area that has an engine, you can write a sequence to do that. So here's my first sequence that toggles on and off zone 1, and then I have a sequence that toggles on and off zone 2. We can then go to the button and apply those settings. So the press action will light the LED, and then the release action will resume the sequence to toggle the zone on and off, and Scene Modify would then just affect the single zone that you checked off for Modify in the scene editor. Your zone toggle scenes would look something like this. So zone 1 is at 100 and I've checked off Scene Modify, and then I'm ignoring the other zone in the area. The zone 1 off would be set at 0, and we check ignore on the other zone. Then you see zone 2 on and zone 2 off. Keep in mind that you can't put Scene Modify in a sequence. It will not run. I hope this video was informative, and thanks for watching.